Next on the news, a well-cooked meal meant to feed your body and your soul. This New York eatery is giving Catholics their own Lenten menu.
I think with an Italian restaurant, you usually can't go wrong, but I felt especially welcomed.
Despite being ordered by doctors to stay indoors, Pope Francis is out and about. The Holy Father making a surprise stop at St. Peter's Basilica and getting a visit from King Charles and Queen Camilla. Plus,
thank you, Katie, for our lettuce.
These ducks are eating well, thanks to a story first brought to you by our own Katie Vasquez. These sweet greens, the work of a student lab project. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. There's just about a week and a half to go before Easter, which means we have 2 more meat-free Fridays ahead of us. One Westchester restaurant is making it easier for Catholics to observe this Lenten practice by offering a Lenten menu, allowing for faith-filled Friday dinners out. It seems like an average Friday night at Odo in Westchester. Standing over a sizzling stove, the owner of the Tuckahoe restaurant, Nick Odoardi. Stirring, sautéing, and dishing out mouth-watering meals for customers at the cozy hotspot. But tonight, the Catholic chef is cooking up something special for Lent, an entire menu for Friday nights.
Like the Lenten menu has some of our regular menu items on it. It's just more geared towards, instead of if you're a devout Catholic, you have to go through our regular menu and see what you can have, can't have, rather than it just being very easy for you to just all be on one page.
Everything on here is meat-free and unique. Nick sprinkles his Italian Catholic roots into every dish he concocts.
There was a missing niche for a restaurant with the food that I ate growing up. When I cook, it's more nostalgic, it's more bringing back fond memories.
And since he doesn't eat meat on Fridays during Lent, he figured many of his customers probably don't either. Like Stephen and Dina Grant. The Catholic couple says Odo is already a favorite eatery of theirs, but being handed this menu tonight?
We were really just gratified that they had a menu that was appropriate for Lent. I think with an Italian restaurant, you usually can't go wrong with finding a pasta dish or a fish dish or something like that, but I felt especially welcomed.
And with the number of options on the menu, their Lenten practice of abstaining from meat on Fridays doesn't seem like much of a sacrifice.
I ordered a pasta dish that had eggplant and tomato sauce. Don't ask me the Italian name.
How was it?
Delicious.
And Nick says every Friday it's a different menu with different options, but always in line with his Catholic faith. If you'd like to make a reservation and try out that Lenten menu, just go to restaurantodo.com. While the price of Easter eggs and chocolate bunnies may be bittersweet this year thanks to the bird flu outbreak and the recent tariffs, it's not stopping people of faith from taking part in the holiday traditions. Currents News' Jenna McDermott looks at how much your celebration could cost.
Easter spending is expected to soar this year despite many economic uncertainties.
Consumers are expecting to really go out for Easter this year.
The National Retail Federation estimates consumers will shell out more than $23 billion this year, with people spending around $189 per person on average. That's up $12 from last year. Catherine Cullen from the National Retail Federation says even though some items are more expensive due to inflation, it's not holding people back from shopping.
Through all of these tumultuous times, consumers have been very protective of these holidays.
According to the National Federation's recent survey, consumers will spend the most on candy and food, and nothing says Easter like an extravaganza.
Easter is our highest consumption period of the entire year.
Emily Metz is the CEO of the American Egg Board. She says Americans are expected to eat or decorate over 3 billion eggs this spring season. The good news is egg prices have come down in the last few weeks, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Metz says fewer avian flu cases have helped stabilize prices, but they are still much higher than this time last year.
That has made a significant impact. It's allowing our system to recover.
So how can shoppers save this holiday?
Certainly think about which decorations you can reuse from last year, whether or not you can encourage people to participate in a potluck.
Cullen also recommends painting wooden eggs instead of real ones. Jenna McDermott, Currents News.
While you are physically getting ready for Easter, Net TV can help you celebrate spiritually. We will have full Holy Week coverage, and you can watch all of those services right here. Starting this Palm Sunday, Net TV will go live at 12:30 with a procession from Grand Army Plaza before Bishop Brennan celebrates Mass at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph. Then on Tuesday, April 15th, with the Chrism Mass at 4 p.m. On Holy Thursday, Net TV will broadcast live the Mass of the Lord's Supper at 7:30 p.m. On Good Friday, there will be 3 services: a Way of the Cross at 10 a.m., a Spanish Procession of the Lord at 12 p.m., and the Passion of the Lord at 3 p.m. The Easter Vigil will be at 8 p.m. that Saturday. And on Easter Sunday, there will be 6 masses for the faithful to view: 9 a.m. Creole, 11 a.m. English, 1:30 p.m. Spanish, 4 p.m. Italian, 5 p.m. Polish, and 6 p.m. English. Developing tonight, the police have arrested the man who they say smashed a statue of baby Jesus. The NYPD is charging 38-year-old Jose Rodriguez with multiple offenses, including a hate crime, after he walked into Immaculate Conception Church in Astoria and slapped a statue of baby Jesus to the ground, causing it to break. You can read more about this story online at thetablet.org. Turning now to the Vatican, where we're hearing about another surprise public appearance from Pope Francis. On Thursday, the Holy Father left his convalescence at Casa Santa Marta to go to St. Peter's Basilica, where he prayed at the tomb of St. Pius X. News of the Pope's presence quickly spread, and the faithful gathered to greet him. The day before, the Holy Father had a private meeting with King Charles and Queen Camilla, despite previous reports that their meeting would be rescheduled. In a statement released by the Holy See, the Pope expressed best wishes for the couple's 20th wedding anniversary and wished King Charles a speedy recovery from his recent hospitalization due to side effects from a cancer treatment. Pope Francis is also praying for the hundreds of victims who were killed when the roof collapsed at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic Tuesday. In a telegram to the Archbishop of Santo Domingo, the Pope expressed condolences to the families of loved ones lost and offered his apostolic blessing to all those affected by the tragedy. An update now to 2 stories brought to you by our own Katie Vasquez. First, a rare display of faith that attracted hundreds of faithful. More than 500 Catholics visited Our Lady of Mount Carmel Oratory in Montclair, New Jersey on April 5th to pray before 500 sacred relics linked to Jesus, the Holy Family, and other religious figures. They were provided by a U.S. regional delegate from the International Crusade for Holy Relics who wished to share his collection in honor of the church's Jubilee year. In our second update, a student-led project provided lab-grown greens to one of God's creatures.
Tell Katie thank you. Thank you, Katie, for our lettuce.
That's Freddie and Quack Quack, 2 ducks currently being helped by Mary Beth Arts, a licensed wildlife rehabilitator. For years, the Catholic has been on a mission to help birds in Prospect Park, and recently she received these sweet greens from our own Katie Vasquez. They come from the hydroponics lab at Salle Academy in the East Village. The Green Club there has been using their crops to feed the hungry in their community, but thanks to Katie, they can now say they are helping all of God's creations. Ahead of Easter, Mary Beth is asking people not to dump any ducklings at Prospect Park. If you want to help her in her mission, you can give a tax-deductible donation to her rescue group at theyallwanttolive.org. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.